All right, let's start with a new concept called length of stay pricing. And this kind of fits in with, and you can think of it as a continuation to that hurdle point pricing, just because it's basically the next notch up in complexity. But it's another really big concept that a lot of the big brands and a lot of the major PMSs support. So we might as well talk about it. So the concept is length of stay pricing. You can find this used really, really heavily with one of the biggest brands in the world. So Hilton, this is pretty much exclusively the type of pricing that they use for all of their hotels. I say almost exclusively because they do also implement a hurdle point or last room value system in tandem with this. So if you plan to ever work with a Hilton property, you're going to have to understand this concept in depth. But it's not only Hilton that has like a monopoly on this way of pricing. You can do this kind of pricing if you have a property that has the Opera PMS system. Also, MSI's Night Vision software allows for this kind of pricing, this length of stay pricing. So it's not just Hilton. You will get exposed to it a little bit if you use any of these three systems. And I'm sure that there are other systems too that support length of stay pricing. So let's jump into what it actually is and what it actually means. So let's start with an example. I think this is the best way to start to learn is just, let's look at an actual real hotel. This is a real business on the books for a hotel that I have. We're starting the business on the books by looking at this upcoming Sunday. So February the 18th. So let's just talk through strategy for this hotel. The actual individual price points today aren't really of too much importance. So we're not really going to be looking at the comp set extremely closely. The point of this video isn't for us to come up with individual price points for how we want to price next week or, how exactly we should change. I really just want to introduce this concept of length of stay pricing. So let's look at some trends. So taking a look at next week, looks like we have a pretty soft Sunday night. We're only at about 58%. This is coming up in 3 days. Monday is very, very close to the sellout already. We're at 92%. Next Tuesday's at 94%. Wednesday still needs a little bit of help. We still have some rooms to sell on Wednesday night. We're only at 81%. Historically, I can tell you guys that this particular hotel, Tuesday, Wednesday is always their peak night. So it has a very, very traditional corporate midweek kind of pick up and demand pattern. And the weekends are a little bit tough. It kind of depends on if we get the Smurf group, Smurf being, like leisure, weddings, fraternal, that sort of stuff. But this hotel has a really traditional pattern. So that's why this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are already looking pretty strong. You can also see this column here, our 7-day pickup. We've been picking up, 12 to 17 rooms per night for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Still kind of slow there on this Wednesday, the 21st. So we'll talk about that once we get into the length of stay pricing. Next weekend of the 23rd and the 24th. Friday is still what I would call a little bit soft at 55%. Saturday's starting to shape up pretty nice. This is a 96-room hotel, so our forecast, we're currently forecasting about 108 rooms. So that is forecasting a sellout. So that night's looking pretty good. And then that following week as well, you'll notice kind of a similar pattern. Sunday, pretty soft. There's not a lot of early arrivals that come in on Sunday. Monday and Tuesday right now is looking strong. So again, it's not a completely ordinary week in that the Monday and Tuesday are the peak nights right now. So what we'd like to do is, we want to boost that Wednesday some. That Wednesday still needs some help, only 45% there. And then this weekend, and even lumping in Thursday with that as well, this Thursday, Friday, Saturday of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of March, all 3 of those days of week are pretty soft right now. So just a brief rundown on our pricing strategy. Obviously, we're going to be pushing rate here in the midweek over Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Looks like we're pretty routinely up as high as 189 and 199 on the Tuesday, Wednesday peaks. A little bit softer on Mondays. And then the The shoulder dates of Sunday and Thursday, we drop pretty low. Looks like we're not alone in doing that. The comp set also drops pretty low here. This competitor 2, competitor 3, and competitor 4, we're all pretty much right in line with them. And then the weekends as well, there's a pretty big difference between the midweek pricing and the weekend pricing. So let's keep that in mind. Just keep this in the back of your head as we move over to this next tab. Keep in mind that next week's Monday, Tuesday is looking very strong. We still need some help on the Wednesday. This Saturday here is still forecasting above a sellout. And then this week here, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, are of course shaping up to be the strong nights for that week of the 26th. So let's talk about what length of stay pricing actually is. So length of stay pricing is a way for you to offer different price points at different lengths of stay, ultimately with the goal of incentivizing the longest lengths of stay possible. So let's start with this top middle module here. I kept the on the books. This is just pulled directly from that hotel's business on the books right here. I'm keeping this on the left just for reference. So, we're going to keep talking about some of these same days over and over again. So I just wanted to pull that back in so you guys could see what I'm talking about. So let's start with this top middle module here. So length of stay, it's kind of self-explanatory in a way. So if you look at this first cell, so notice that this is horizontal, but it's chronological. So it's looking at that Sunday the 18th, Monday the 19th, next Tuesday the 20th, and so on and so forth. And instead of looking at it vertically, it's got it horizontal. So you can almost kind of read through it like a sentence. So let's start with this first cell. This is your LV0 pricing, which this is obviously starting to skew a little bit more towards the Hilton side. So we'll pretend that this hotel is a Hilton. But let's take this first cell. So on February the 18th, this upcoming Sunday here, we will accept stays that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus at this LV0 price point. So length of stay it gets a little bit more complicated because you have two moving parts. You have the lengths of stay that you're accepting at different price points, and then you have the actual pricing structure itself here. So that's what that second module is. So take just a second, pause if you want, take a second to kind of get familiar with what this hotel's pricing strategy is. It goes from, LV0 are going to be your highest rates, LV4 are going to be your lowest rates. So this hotel, there's a little bit of differentiation between the days of week. So Sundays, their high point is 149, low point of 109, and they have some price points in between. In the midweek, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, those are their highest demand days of week. So their LV0 highest pricing is at 209. On the low end, they can drop as low as 169, and you have multiple price points in between there. The Sundays and Thursdays are similar enough to where they have the exact same pricing structure. And then over the weekend of Fridays and Saturdays, it's a lot lower, due to market mix. And this hotel is traditionally a little bit softer on the weekends than it is on the weekdays. So we have the Fridays and Saturdays priced with the same strategy. Their high point is 129 at LV0. Their low point is 99 at LV4. So you'll start to see a pattern develop up here. And the cool thing about length of stay is that it not only affects just the week that you're in, but once we get to the second half of the week, you'll start to notice that we're not offering lengths of stay that start to affect this next week of the 26th. So let me just walk you guys through a couple of examples, and I'll show you what the reasoning is and how it flows through to the rate shop, and just kind of what the reasoning is in general for why we're doing this. So you'll notice on the rate shop that we have X's on this Monday and Tuesday, next Monday, Tuesday on the 19th and 20th. So that signals that there is no one night availability, because this rate shop here is just a real generic one night. It's just looking for one night availability. So why is that? So let's go over here to our length of stay pricing key. And you'll notice that there's no one night availability for this Monday the 19th. And there's no one night availability for this Tuesday, even at LV0. So you guys might remember from previous videos that it's a lot like a length of stay 2, or a min stay 2, I mean. And I say it's a lot like, it's not exactly like a min stay 2, but it's effectively kind of doing the same thing. So we're not accepting one-nighters at all for this Monday or this Tuesday. And that's simply because the occupancy is already so strong. We're already at 92% for this Monday. We're already at 94 for this Tuesday. So in my opinion, it wasn't beneficial to take one-night stays. I will take 2-night stays, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 plus arrival on Monday. I'll take same thing, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus on Tuesday at LV0, but no one-nighters anywhere. So you can start to see a pattern develop again where, we want the longer lengths of stay. So as you move down the levels, you'll notice that we get more and more restrictive. So down here at LV4, which would be a 169 rate, if you wanted to stay with us and get a 169 rate over this Monday, Tuesday, you would literally have to show up and stay 6 plus nights. That's why you have a dash, 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 6, 7. It means that length of stay, and we're looking at this cell right here, it means that length of stay 1 through 5 is not, at that price point, it's not even worth it for us to take that. So we will literally only take lengths of stay 6 and 7. So if you want to show up on Monday and get our lowest rate of a 169, you would have to stay Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or longer. And that, again, that's just to really guard that Monday and Tuesday. Just make sure that we force our highest rated business to book over that Monday, Tuesday. So what about soft days of week? For example, Thursday. Notice that Thursday on this business on the books is, for this week, it's this, for this upcoming week, that's the softest day of week on here. We're at 50%. Thursday is historically a pretty soft day of week. So we're down here at 109. So let's double check and make sure that that checks out. I come over here to Thursday in our length of stay key, and one night, what's the lowest we can go and still get one night availability? Dropping. Boom, we can get it at LV4. So LV4 for a Thursday is 109, and sure enough, that's what flows through to the rate shop. So Thursday starts to get interesting because you'll notice, we're taking one-nighters here at LV4. We're taking 4-nighters. So you might be asking yourself, hey, why are we not taking 2 and 3-nighters? And why are we not taking 5 and 6-nighters? So my logic there is we don't want to take 2 and 3-nighters because right now that weekend is actually not looking too bad. We especially don't want to take 3-nighters there because remember the Saturday, if we flip back here, the Saturday is forecasting 108 rooms. So it's forecasting above a sellout. So we want to guard that. We do want to try to get a little bit of a rate premium for that Saturday night. So that's why for LV4, I'm not allowing 2 or 3 night stays over that weekend. So with that said, notice how for arrivals on Thursday night at LV4, I'm also not allowing 5 and 6-nighters. Now that might sound a little bit weird because you almost never want to turn away 5 and 6-nighters if you can avoid it. But notice that Monday and Tuesday, the 26th and 27th, both of those days of week are already looking very, very strong. So this is essentially 2 weeks out. It's the week after next. And both of these days of week, they're both looking very, very good. So again, this is a 96-room hotel. If I flip back to that daily on the book strategy, we're forecasting 101 on Monday. That's an easy sellout. And we're forecasting 98 rooms on the Tuesday, which is a few rooms above a sellout. It's not like we have runaway, this crazy unconstrained demand, but we do have enough demand right now to where it looks like we're going to hit the sellout. So we want to guard that Monday, Tuesday. So this is where length of stay pricing gets interesting and it gets creative because you can affect not only that week that you're in, but you can also start to affect that next week and really make some revenue management decisions now that pay dividends for weeks that are even further out. So let's look at a reservation that we're denying. So a 5 and 6 night stay arrival on Thursday, 2/22. Notice what that's, notice who we're turning away. So a 5-night stay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice how it touches that Monday. That's why we're not taking it, because we want to guard this Monday that was forecasting 110 rooms. Same thing with a 4 and 5-night stay. So, or I'm sorry, that was a 5-night stay. Here's a 6-night stay. So we're not taking a 6-night stay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice how it touches that Monday, Tuesday. We still don't want to sell to LV4 to a rate or to a guest that's staying at that low of a rate. So where we do start to offer the availability again is for 7 nights. So again, we're still looking at this cell here, LV4 for Thursday the 22nd. Notice how we now take a 7-nighter. Let's see what that would look like. It would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-nighter. So we're now taking this because it's giving us the Wednesday night. So the Wednesday night, if we flip back here and look at this, notice how the Wednesday night, that's the one night in that midweek peak that's forecasting under a sellout. So we would still like to take, we'd like to take some business there. We'd like to sell to, or we're less selective with who we sell to, as long as they're giving us that Wednesday night. And then over the weekend, kind of a similar strategy. So you'll notice that we take some shorter lengths of stay. We're okay with, some of the 1s and 2 nights booking over that Friday, Saturday. But again, ultimately, we're still trying to guard this Monday, Tuesday. And also, too, we would like to incentivize people to stay over this very, very soft Sunday, the 25th. So let's look at our pricing scheme here. So on the Friday, the 23rd, looks like we are accepting rates down to this LV1. We're accepting 1-nighters down to LV1, which is 119. And that's what flows through to the rate shop right here. And then Saturday, again, that Saturday was forecasting pretty well. So we're a little bit higher there at 129, and that lines up here. So if we go up to this cell, we'll notice that LV0, we're only selling to 1-nighters at LV0, which makes sense. LV0 is 129. That's what we see on the rate shop for that night, 129. All right, so I hope that this has been somewhat instructional. I know it was very, very fast. The concept of length of stay is pretty important to get down, just because if you plan on becoming a revenue manager or you are a revenue manager, you will come across hotels that use this kind of pricing scheme. So feel free to you can pause this video and come up with some scenarios yourself, and this does line up pretty well. So if you want to, you can check the rate shop versus the pricing scheme and versus the length of stay scheme. And it'll take some time to sink in. When I first learned this, I remember it took me a couple days before I was really thinking in this kind of mindset. But it should all make sense if you just practice with it a little bit. I'll try to share this spreadsheet with you guys if you want to take that approach. But yeah, hopefully this was instructional. Thank you guys for watching.